Hello and welcome, I'm Andy Edmondson and this is my channel. If you're here, then that means you want to do the same as me and you want to reduce, reuse and recycle. Now, my last video was on the sustainability of coffee and that got me thinking, how sustainable is the milk that I put in my coffee? Are there more sustainable non-dairy milks than others? Well, we're going to find out in this video. You may have just noticed I use the phrase non-dairy. That's because traditional dairy, as in milk from cows, cannot be considered in our look into sustainable milks. It is the biggest offender in terms of milk sustainability, and cutting cow's milk from your life is the first step in increasing your sustainable efforts. Scientists agree that the dairy industry has overall negative effect on the environment. For starters, it takes a lot of land, fertilizer and water to grow food for cows. It also takes a lot of energy to process raw milk, package it and deliver the goods to supermarkets around the world. Then there is the fact that cows generate loads of methane, which is more harmful to the environment than carbon dioxide. One glass of milk is associated with drastically higher land use, emissions and water usage than all other dairy milks. When it comes to alternative non-dairy milks, there appears to be an overwhelming choice in the supermarket and in coffee shops. And when you're asking for a latte or cappuccino, do you want soy milk? Do you want oat milk? Do you want hemp milk? Do you want rice milk? I just want the most sustainable one. So with so many milks to choose from, let's dive in to which one of them you should probably put in your fridge to replace cow's milk. The first thing to note is the country within which you live will affect the sustainability of a certain type of milk. There is complexity and nuance depending on where people live and the specific product that they are looking at. Not just the type of milk, but the specific brand, the specific product may have a very different supply chain compared to another very complementary product. With that said, let's take a more general look at some of these milks. The first one is almond milk. Almonds feature a plethora of health benefits, including good fats, flavonoids, and proteins. However, many of the benefits found in actual almonds are not present in almond milk because it only contains about 2% of almonds. Although almond milk seems like a great milk alternative, its environmental impact is fairly high. The biggest problem with almonds is that they require a lot of water to produce. On average, it takes little over a gallon of water to grow a single almond. Even worse, many almond growers are located in California, which has suffered extreme droughts over the past few years. Almond trees can actually survive on just 7.6 inches of water per year in the wild, but high-yield farmed almonds in places like California, well, they need 54 to 58 inches of water per year. If you live in California, then this would reduce the sustainable cost compared to someone from the east coast of America. If you live in Europe, there are almonds grown in the Mediterranean, but most almond milks use almonds from California. Okay, so like almond milk, coconut milk does not feature as many nutritional benefits as you may think. Aside from being low in calories, coconut milk features little on the vitamin and protein front. A positive aspect of coconut milk is that it has a very low environmental impact. The farms are eco-friendly and use small amounts of water to produce coconuts. Coconut trees can also filter out carbon dioxide, which is great for combating greenhouse gases. The transportation and processing are the only environmental impacts to consider in the production of coconuts. There is also the fact that it has a rather watery texture and does not pair well with other foods. A very popular milk alternative is soy milk. The nutritional value of soy milk is close to cow's milk. It has plenty of micronutrients, carbohydrates, and fat. The main downside to soy, though, is its negative impact on the environment. Soy requires massive chunks of land and pesticides to produce. This crop is also genetically modified to better withstand various growing conditions and combat pests. There are large areas of the Amazon rainforest that are being destroyed in order to grow soy. How much of the land to grow soy that ultimately gets fed to farmed animals for human consumption is a factor to consider here. If we consumed all of the soy that we grew, then this would not be such a negative factor. If you think soy is a viable alternative to traditional milk in your diet, consider purchasing organic brands where the soy is grown more locally. Okay, so you're about halfway through this list, and I might have missed something, so let me know in the comments if there's something that I have not covered here, because there are a huge amount of non-dairy milks to choose from. Whilst you're there, also hit that subscribe button so that I know I'm having value to your lifestyle and that we can together make a difference. Alright, back to the list. A new milk on the block that is gaining more and more traction each year is oat milk. Oats have long been used to fight bad cholesterol, and these same nutrients are present in oat milk. While oat milk also contains B vitamins, it does not have as much protein and minerals as other milk alternatives. Like most plant-based milks, it takes a lot of energy to turn oats into milk. Oats, however, contribute less carbon to the atmosphere than other plants and require less water to grow. For example, it takes 5 to 6 times as much water to grow almonds than it does oats. This lessens the environmental hazards in the oat industry, making it a sustainable milk alternative. Oat crops can also act as cover crops for farmers to help with rotation and battle soil mineral depletion. A combination of oat, soy and corn field rotations could reduce herbicide use by 25 to 51% and also use 88 to 92% less nitrogen fertilizer. Another fairly common milk alternative is rice milk. Rice is farmed all over the globe, but it requires a lot of water to produce. The plus side is that there are new varieties that make farming rice less damaging to the environment. The downside is that a lot of modern varieties are genetically modified, which many countries have deemed unsafe. There is also the risk of arsenic contamination in rice paddies. When it comes to taste and texture, rice milk is about as close as you can get to cow's milk. It is naturally sweet and pairs well with cereal or cookies. Rice milk has the highest emissions of all non-dairy milks. This is due to flooded paddies to encourage growth. Once flooded, bacteria grow in the water and start to produce methane. As I said, one of the most potent greenhouse gases. The flooded water then gets drained into waterways, causing water pollution due to fertilizer runoff and water contamination problems. When comparing water usage, almonds come out the worst, taking 371 litres of water to produce 1 litre of the product. Soy and oats are far more efficient in water usage. There are 2 more outlier milks I'll mention, the first being pea protein milk. With the amount of protein per glass matching cow's milk, pea protein milk is a healthy alternative to dairy. It also boasts enough omega-3s and calcium to rival traditional milk. Better yet, pea protein milk is a great option for eco-conscious consumers. Peas can often grow without irrigation and are easily rotated by farmers, naturally fixing nitrogen in soil and reducing the need for artificial fertilizers. Growing peas requires up to 6 times less water than almonds, and this milk alternative has a much smaller carbon footprint than dairy. However, finding pea protein milk on the shelves is harder than other non-dairy milks. Hopefully this will change in the future. The last on the list, and a milk alternative that is not well known at all, is hemp milk. There are a lot of health benefits associated with hemp milk. This milk contains plenty of protein and important fatty acids. These fats are good for improving the cardiovascular system, maintaining healthy cholesterol levels, and fortifying skin. As far as the environment is concerned, hemp production is actually quite eco-friendly. This plant is hardy, meaning less pesticides and sprays are needed to combat weeds. Hemp also helps fight global warming by filtering out carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And just about every part of the hemp plant is used, resulting in less waste than other plants on the list. What's in my fridge? Well, due to the lower water usage needed to produce it, the lower environmental emissions associated with it, and with the creamier texture it has in my coffee and my cereal, I opt for oat milk. There are fantastic varieties of it on shelves now, and it seems to be a very viable alternative to cow's milk in terms of sustainability. If you've enjoyed this video, then you know what to do. Hit that like button, click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.